In bustling cities like Florence and Venice, scholars, artists, and thinkers began questioning traditional beliefs, pushing boundaries, and celebrating human potential. This cultural awakening gave rise to revolutionary advancements, from the masterpieces of Leonardo da Vinci to the scientific breakthroughs of Galileo. The Renaissance wasn't just a time of learning. It was the dawn of a new worldview, setting Europe on a path that would forever change its history. The Renaissance didn't emerge out of nowhere. It was fueled by a series of important events that reintroduced Europe to the vast knowledge of the ancient world. One of the most significant catalysts was the Crusades, a series of religious wars that, despite their violence, had an unexpected consequence. They opened Europe to new cultures and ideas. As European knights and crusaders traveled through the Middle East, they encountered the thriving Islamic world, which had preserved and expanded upon the ancient Greek and Roman texts that had been nearly forgotten in Europe. Islamic scholars had carefully studied, translated, and enhanced works from Aristotle, Plato, Euclid, and Ptolemy, adding their own discoveries in fields like mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. These interactions weren't just about rediscovering old texts. The Crusaders also brought back advanced scientific knowledge, medical practices, and even new approaches to art and architecture. Trade routes expanded, allowing for the exchange of goods and ideas. In time, scholars and merchants returning to Italy and other parts of Europe brought these insights home, sparking a curiosity and intellectual revival. The Islamic world's contributions became foundational to European learning, setting the stage for a period where scholars would begin questioning established beliefs, leading directly to the Renaissance's thirst for knowledge and exploration. By reigniting the intellectual flame, these early connections introduced Europe to ideas that would challenge traditional ways of thinking and create a bridge from the Middle Ages into the Renaissance. Italy was uniquely positioned to become the heart of the Renaissance, and cities like Florence and Venice played a critical role in this cultural rebirth. Several factors made Italy the perfect place for new ideas to flourish: its geographic location, economic prosperity, political landscape, and rich classical heritage. Firstly, Italy's location was ideal for trade. Positioned between Europe, North Africa, and the Eastern Mediterranean, Italian cities like Venice and Genoa thrived as major trading hubs. Wealthy merchants from these cities controlled vital trade routes that connected them to the Islamic world and beyond. Through trade, they not only accumulated immense wealth, but also encountered diverse ideas, philosophies, and technologies from other cultures, igniting curiosity and a desire for knowledge. This economic power allowed Italian merchant families, like the Medicis in Florence, to become influential patrons of the arts and sciences. With their fortunes, they funded artists, architects, and thinkers, supporting a vibrant environment for creativity. The Medici family, for instance, financed groundbreaking works by artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, setting a standard for art and intellectual achievement. Wealthy patrons commissioned grand buildings, sculptures, and paintings to display their power and influence, fostering a competitive atmosphere among cities to excel in artistic and cultural achievements. Moreover, Italy's political landscape was fragmented into city-states like Florence, Venice, and Milan, each with its own government, military, and interests. This rivalry pushed these cities to distinguish themselves, especially in art and education. Florence, often called the cradle of the Renaissance, was driven by a culture of learning and innovation, where humanism, a philosophy centered on human potential and achievements, took root and flourished. Finally, Italy was steeped in the legacy of ancient Rome. The ruins and artifacts of the Roman Empire surrounded Italians, reminding them of a time when their ancestors had led the world in art, philosophy, and governance. This classical heritage inspired scholars to rediscover and reinterpret ancient texts, bringing a renewed focus on human potential, realism, and scientific inquiry. In sum, Italy's wealth, cultural openness, competitive city-states, and proximity to ancient knowledge created the perfect environment for the Renaissance. This unique combination of factors allowed Italy to become the birthplace of a movement that would redefine art, science, and philosophy across Europe. The Renaissance was defined by an extraordinary explosion of creativity, scientific discovery, and humanistic thought that fundamentally reshaped European culture and intellectual life. This period saw artists, scientists, and thinkers push boundaries, break conventions, and explore new ways of understanding the world and the human experience. At the heart of this transformation was the rise of humanism, a philosophy that celebrated human potential, individuality, and the study of the humanities. Humanists believed that people could shape their own destinies and achieve greatness, drawing inspiration from ancient Greek and Roman texts that emphasized the value of human achievement. This led to a profound shift from the medieval focus on religious salvation to a celebration of earthly life and human accomplishments. Education began to emphasize the classics, literature, philosophy, and history, encouraging individuals to think critically and pursue knowledge for its own sake. In the arts, this new worldview sparked unprecedented creativity. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael pioneered new techniques that brought depth, realism, and emotion to their work. They developed linear perspective, a technique that created the illusion of depth on a flat surface, making scenes appear more lifelike than ever. Michelangelo's David and Leonardo's Mona Lisa are masterpieces of this era, embodying humanistic ideals by celebrating the beauty, strength, and complexity of the human form. Art was no longer just a reflection of religious themes, but an exploration of humanity, emotion, and the natural world. This spirit of curiosity extended into science, where thinkers sought to understand the world not through religious doctrine, but through observation, experimentation, and mathematics. Figures like Copernicus and Galileo revolutionized our understanding of the universe, challenging long-held beliefs about the Earth's place in it. Copernicus's heliocentric theory proposed that the Earth revolved around the Sun, a radical departure from the Church's geocentric view. Galileo's telescope allowed him to make groundbreaking observations of celestial bodies, providing evidence that the universe was far more complex than previously thought. This empirical approach marked the beginning of modern science. The Renaissance was also marked by the rediscovery and advancement of anatomy, medicine, and engineering. Leonardo da Vinci, for instance, conducted detailed anatomical studies to better understand the human body, producing drawings that are still admired for their accuracy. Engineers designed complex machines, like early prototypes of flying devices, hydraulic pumps, and military innovations, driven by a desire to explore and expand human capabilities. This burst of creative and intellectual energy was fueled by a belief in humanity's potential, a fascination with the natural world, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. By valuing observation, experimentation, and the classics, Renaissance thinkers laid the foundation for the scientific revolution and the modern age. Ultimately, the Renaissance wasn't just a revival of ancient knowledge. It was a reinvention of how people understood themselves and the world, shaping the future in ways that are still evident today. One of the most transformative inventions of the Renaissance was Johannes Gutenberg's printing press, developed around 1440. Before this invention, books were meticulously copied by hand, often by monks in monasteries. This process was slow, labor-intensive, and costly, which meant that books were rare and accessible only to the wealthy and educated elite. Knowledge was largely confined to religious institutions and select universities, making it difficult for new ideas to spread widely. Gutenberg's printing press changed everything. Using movable type, individual letters that could be arranged and rearranged on a press, Gutenberg's machine could produce multiple copies of a text quickly and efficiently. For the first time, books could be printed in large quantities, dramatically reducing production time and costs. As a result, books became far more affordable and accessible to a much larger audience, extending beyond the wealthy to the emerging middle class. The impact of this increased access to knowledge was revolutionary. Gutenberg's first major project, the Gutenberg Bible, showed the world the potential of this new technology. Soon, books on a wide range of subjects, science, philosophy, literature, and even controversial religious texts, began circulating throughout Europe. This democratization of knowledge empowered people to think critically, question authority, and seek knowledge independently, fueling the spread of humanism and the Renaissance itself. The printing press also accelerated the standardization of language and ideas, allowing for more uniform education and communication across regions. Ideas that would have taken years to spread by word of mouth now traveled rapidly, connecting scholars and thinkers across Europe. Ultimately, Gutenberg's invention laid the groundwork for the modern era of mass communication, making the dissemination of knowledge faster, broader, and more inclusive than ever before. The Renaissance left an indelible mark on European art, science, and society, shaping the modern world in profound ways. In art, Renaissance masters like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael introduced realism, perspective, and human emotion, shifting focus from strictly religious themes to celebrating human experience and the natural world. This artistic legacy continues to inspire modern art and architecture. In science, Renaissance thinkers pioneered the empirical approach, using observation and experimentation rather than relying on religious doctrine. Figures like Copernicus and Galileo challenged long-held beliefs about the universe, laying the groundwork for the scientific revolution and advancing fields like astronomy, anatomy, and engineering. This spirit of inquiry fueled discoveries that transformed human understanding and set Europe on a path toward modern science. Socially, the Renaissance popularized humanism, a philosophy celebrating human potential and individuality, which shifted society's focus from divine authority to human achievement. This new worldview encouraged critical thinking, education, and a secular approach to understanding life. Ultimately, the Renaissance's emphasis on creativity, knowledge, and individuality redefined European culture and laid the foundations for the Enlightenment, the scientific revolution, and the modern era. The Renaissance's spirit of curiosity, creativity, and human potential is still alive in today's world. Its influence can be seen in our art, our scientific advancements, and our commitment to questioning and understanding the world around us. As you look at modern achievements in these fields, consider how this remarkable era of rebirth laid the groundwork for our pursuit of knowledge and self-expression. If you found this journey inspiring, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on how the Renaissance continues to shape our lives today.